Now, Israeli civilians living near the Israel-Lebanon border are being evacuated as tensions escalate in the area following clashes between the Israeli Defense Force and Lebanon's Hezbollah. SABC's correspondent Mia Alberti reports from Beirut.
On Friday, we are just hearing reports in the last hour, still trying to understand what is happening. We're still trying to gather this information, but we do have from Israeli media saying that there is some kind of clashes on the ground between fighters on this side of the border and Israel and the Israeli army as well. So we're still trying to understand what is happening. We did see a very tense situation on Thursday evening happening at the border, in which a team of 7 people, including journalists, were caught in the crossfire and had to request assistance from the Lebanese army and the United Nations to be evacuated. But one civilian, has been killed by Israeli forces, according to Lebanese authorities. So quite tense. We're continuing to see casualties, which is of course not a good sign, and we're seeing a lot of concern in Lebanon for residents here, both Lebanese and also foreigners, as we are seeing more and more embassies asking their citizens to leave Lebanon. We have heard just on Friday from Oman asking their citizens to leave immediately. The Dutch authorities also asking their citizens to leave the country, and more airlines are starting to cancelling their flights. On Friday, we already knew that Lufthansa and Swiss Airlines had cancelled their flights until the end of the month. Now Saudi Airlines have joined them in cancelling their flights until further notice, and also the Lebanese carrier Middle East Airlines has announced that it is reducing its operation, that about half of its flights will be suspended, and that is because its insurance cover has given them notice that it will not cover all of its flights. So a lot of concern here, especially among the foreigners that are still deciding to leave or not. After all, we all have our lives here. As the airport is still functioning, there's still not an immediate risk, not only to the airport, but to Beirut and Lebanon in general. But we are seeing these escape routes, if we can call them that, starting to narrow down. Even without an escalation, even without Hezbollah being in Israel, we're starting to see the options to leave the country to become narrower, and that's why a lot of countries like the US, UK and Canada have also said that citizens should leave while commercial flight options are still available. So all eyes on the border. We do know that what happens in Lebanon actually does not depend on what happens at the border, but at what happens in Gaza. So all eyes are on that, after the Israeli army said it had given a green light for its army to start an incursion in Gaza. If something does happen, that could be the trigger here to push Hezbollah to join a war with Israel. So very, very fast development, a very fast situation happening here that we will continue to follow.